So I thought I would jump on here simply because I'm literally the last 3 weeks in the middle of it. And I talked a lot about, like trauma and things that happen to you and why they happen to you, but you never expect for them to return unexpectedly. So you think that you've come a certain amount of way and you've mourned a certain amount, but there's always that residual bit left. There's always that bit that you're unaware of. You've either pushed it down or worked harder to try and ignore it to stay busy, but there's always a bit left that you're carrying that you haven't realized. And that is definitely where I'm at this week. I thought I was good. I thought I processed a lot of the things that happened in my life, but it all returned. And the funny thing is that you can look at it and be like, I did go down the sort of poor me realm for a minute. But then I realized that if I don't get rid of this last residual amount, then it's not leaving room for new to come in. And it's very hard. I see a lot of people filming when they're like, I manifested this and I changed my life and I did this to do it. But no one ever films when they're actually in the process of it. And it is fucking wild. Like, my whole nervous system is doing something that I can't even explain. I can't even explain. It's like you start crying for no reason. Like, I haven't cried for 10 years and then I'll just start crying for no reason. And then afterwards I'll feel so much better that I did that. And it's all about making room for new stuff to come in, because it's like carrying a backpack and you've got your laptop in there, your massive drink bottle, you've got your wind sheeter, you've got all this stuff, and you're trying to get one more thing in that backpack and it just won't fit. So you have to get rid of something out of that backpack, yeah? You have to get something out of that backpack in order to put in the thing that you need more than some of the items you've got in there. And that kind of analogy, I think, that resonates more with me. And so I think the whole universe works the same way. It's like you have to take things out that aren't benefiting you in order to allow new things in. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. But no one talks about the process of turning your pain into power. No one talks about that. That is something that is a very, very dark place to be. It's a very dark place to be, because the only way to do it is on your own. The only way to process those things is in your own head, with your own thoughts, with your own feelings. No one else can feel that. And even if that person's done something to you, they don't feel the way that you feel. And so I guess it's about the way you look at things as well. I guess it's about what perspective do you have? This happened to me. However, I needed that to happen to me in order to get to the next place that I'm going. Because it's like, those motivational things where they say, I asked for strength and they gave me hardship. Well, you only learn that through strength through hardship. It's the only way to do it. And so I find myself analyzing my feelings from a outside perspective. So I kind of feel like I'm now outside looking in, which is so freaky. It really is, because before I felt like I was just in my body, processing my thoughts, and I was a nut job. And now I am a nut job who is now external to my body and analyzing why I think the way I do, why I feel the way I feel, why things are happening the way they're happening, and seeing it from a whole different perspective. You know what I mean? It's not like this is one narrow road anymore. It's a road with all these dead ends coming off it, and then streets coming off it, and then which street do you want to go down? And it's also opening up choice. You know, before I thought there was just like one way of doing anything. And now it's like, well, there's multiple ways of doing things. And it's not just what my narrow mind thought for a very long time. For a very long time. You go to university, you have your kids, you get married, you have your kids, you work if you need to work, the father works, whatever it is. Very black and white, very plain thinking. And now it's like, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to be like that. What about all the other directions? What about all the other options? What about... And that's another thing, is I've reconnected with myself as a child. It's like, what dreams and aspirations did I have back then? And what is now stopped me for all those years from following it? And we know why. We all know why that is. You know, that's the system. But now at 43, I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to follow A, B, C, and D to get to, you know, to get to E. I don't want to do that. I want to go down that dead end road. I want to go down that street. I want to go around the roundabout, because I don't know what's at the end of that, but I know what's at the end of that straight road. I know what's there. It's boring. It's inevitable. It's not living. So no one really talks about all this stuff that's going through your head when all this is happening, you know? It's just not. Like, all the things that have happened in my life, like, even though in the last week I've looked back and resented some of it, I'm also thinking, well, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't get to here. I would still be on that straight line. I would still be on that one road going to wherever, boring land. But because I've had the things happen to me in my life that have happened, because they're coming back up again in the last few weeks, there's a reason. So I need to feel those emotions, and then hopefully that opens up the doors and the roads of those dead ends. Because isn't it exciting to know, like, possibilities of what's on the other side? Like, it's almost like remembering when you were a kid and you remembered, you know, your imagination, and I almost feel like that's coming back. And I'd lost it for 33 years. Like, that's exciting to think what's at the end of that road, of those dead ends, of those roundabouts, of those, like, what is at the end of that? Because this mundane stuff, it can't be why we're here. It doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. I don't care who you are. I don't think you think I'm a nut job. You cannot tell me that working 5-6 days a week and chucking your kids left, right, and center so that you can get to a job, so that you can pay for after school care and before school care and babysitters, and have one day on the weekend to relax because the other day is getting ready for the next week. That's not normal. It's not normal. I'm sure there's other planets out there laughing their balls off at us right now. What a pack of idiots. But it's all because we have this fear in ourselves to stay safe. Just this constant fear, stay safe, stay safe. When we're actually imprisoning ourselves within that safety. Nuts. Crazy. So, am I a little bit nuts this week? Yep. But I know it's happening for a reason. So keep following and subscribe. Press the damn button. It doesn't cost you anything. And if you're having the same kind of feelings and emotions, love and light. That's what it's about. All right, guys.